Straight women have HIV too. Up next.
My voice is powerful, and the voices of other women are powerful. Our voices could literally change the world.
Ask your healthcare provider if Biktarvy is right for you, and visit Biktarvy.com to view the important facts, including important warnings.
Hello there, and welcome to Plus Talk on Plus Life, where we're all about turning positive into a plus. My guest today shared her HIV status with the world on World AIDS Day last year. I'm happy to be joined by Ingrid Riegler. Hi Ingrid, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. I really like your story, Ingrid, because, and we'll get to sort of how you found out about HIV and all of that in a minute, but you know, so often we talk about on Plus Life and Plus Talk that people just think HIV is something that only affects gay men. I'm looking at you, I don't see a gay man.
No, totally not. No, I think it's just an old belief, from the 80s that it's only a gay diagnosis. But actually it's not anymore. And that's why I'm here to talk about and educate people on my social media, as much as I can about HIV and U equals U.
You were diagnosed in 2006. I've got to imagine it was really a shock for you, considering everything that was going on in your life at the time.
Yes, so I found out when I was pregnant with my first child. It was a shock about the diagnosis, but I had so much going on that I didn't really realize about what's going on actually, and also maybe a little bit. I have been an athlete my whole life, so I think also my athletic spirit made me push through my diagnosis, and you can just go forward, right? You cannot change the past. So I thought, I cannot change what happened. I can just live in the present for the future, and that's what I did. But still, I had this kind of secret, and I've always been a very open person that I kept with me for the longest time. That was something difficult for me, very, very difficult.
I've talked about it quite a bit, sort of keeping that secret, and I think it's something most of us who are living with HIV, certainly for a portion of the time that we've had it, have kept it as a secret in one form or another or in some capacity. And we all just know how draining and damaging that can be to your mental health, right?
Totally.
So in 2006, this was before we were all talking about U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable. What goes through your mind when you get that information and you're pregnant, and the sort of the concern, obviously, for your unborn child?
Yes, totally. I had very little idea about HIV, like the general information that everybody had at the time. But yes, my main concern was my child, and what's going to happen with her. Will she be okay? Do I have to get rid of her somehow? I don't know. All these kind of thoughts, more than about me, it was about my baby. But then, I had a great doctor. And she said she would be fine. You just need to get on treatment, and you would be fine, and the baby will be fine. At the time, that was one of the most important things for me.
Yeah, and then, you became pregnant with your second daughter. Was U equals U in your world or wheelhouse at that time?
No.
But I'm guessing you felt more confident, though, based on the birth of your first daughter and what the doctors were telling you.
I had, at the time, no idea about U equals U. So I was in a very toxic relationship and I stayed in it for 18 years, you guys, because I had no idea about U equals U. And I thought, I had to stay with this guy forever because I felt worthless, and I thought, nobody else would like me with my status. But then, not that long ago, I found out about U equals U, and I also talked to my doctor. Back in Italy, I still have a very good relationship with her. She said, yeah, it is true, And I was like, what? This is like great news, and I have to share it with the world.
We sort of have to take it upon ourselves, really, to educate people about undetectable equals untransmittable. Do you get frustrated by people in the medical profession and society who are still not talking about this, especially when it comes to sex education or talking to patients. I mean, like you said, you only recently found out about U equals U.
Yes. And I'm kind of sad, and I also get mad at times because general practitioners and also doctors or nurses that are not working in infectious diseases are not well educated about HIV. I had an experience with my second OBGYN when I had my second daughter. He did not know much about it. I mean, and so I was like, okay. And that was one other reason, why I wanted to educate people, because people don't know, and it's frustrating.
And they need to know.
They need to know, totally need to know, yes. I also had, other women that wrote me on my social media, and they did not know, and they stayed by themselves alone because they had no idea. So they did not know that they could actually have a normal life, a normal sex life. I always say, everybody loves sex, right? It's the best thing on the planet, right?
And it's the one thing we all have in common, because we're all here because two people had sex.
I know, exactly. But nobody wants to talk about it, right? So we have to talk about it. We have to normalize talking about HIV, because people are still back in the 80s, and like research and science have made such huge improvement that we have to talk about it.
Right.
And it's fundamental.
So you've started something on your personal Instagram account that you call On a Positive Note. What's that?
I started a series of, I wouldn't call them interviews, but I love to call them chats with HIV positive women around the world. And it's called On a Positive Note. And we talk about different topics. We talk about motherhood, pregnancy, being peer counselor around the world, spreading U equals U, all different topics, new relationships when somebody, is going into a new relationship, how to confront a new partner, how to talk about it to him, because that's also very important. People sometimes they don't know, do I have to share my status? When do I have to share my status? For everybody it's different, but I think it's important that we talk about it.
The work that you're doing through this and through your own advocacy, letting women and people know that it is okay to be living with HIV. It's not, there's nothing wrong with you.
No, it's just a diagnosis. It's not a death sentence anymore, and people need to know that. And I just don't want, when I had my diagnosis, I felt totally alone. I did not know to whom to talk to, and I don't want anybody, no woman, no women, no man, to feel alone, unloved, or unwanted, because we don't have to go through this by ourselves. We are, we are community. And so it's very important to stick together.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Nobody, and nobody should be made to feel less than for loving or for having sex with someone and doing something that is just so part of our human DNA. Ingrid, it's been a real treat chatting to you. We'll put all of Ingrid's information up on the Plus Life website. We'll also tag it on our social as well. Ingrid, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
That's going to do it for this episode of Plus Talk. Remember, you can follow us across social media platforms. We are at Plus Life Media, and the website, pluslifemedia.com. Like I said, we'll put all of Ingrid's info up on there. Check out what she's doing on Instagram. Until next time, be nice to one another, please. Please. It's not that hard. See ya.